This is my Astrophyllite. You might see the blue shimmers on it. Some Astrophylites have different colored shimmers. The shimmers here are especially blue. Sometimes, depending on how you hold it, you might even see some brownish, dark brownish in there. It's sort of pigmented, if you will. Different Astrophylites come in different colors as far as the shimmer goes. As far as I know, they're mostly black, and there's some brown out there. But I did want to record my experiences since I've had it. In fact, I ended up getting a little notebook because I wanted to make sure that I keep track for myself of something so new that there's hardly anything online about it. So let me turn this light here off, and I will go ahead and read off my notes. Today's July 31st. So I got the Astrophyllite in June 7th, 2017. I found it to be pretty impressive just in holding it. The size seemed larger at 165 grams. Supposedly the diameter is 47 millimeter. I can't really measure it. I don't have the device. But it felt very intense to hold it. It's the best way to describe it. When I initially held it, I didn't know what to expect. And then I realized after holding it for a while and carrying it with me that I had to place it out of my bedroom at night because of the intensity that it held. And I had to put it away for a day or two. And then it kind of drew me back to itself. And I did know from the get-go that this was a special stone. It was a special type of quartz, if you will. I started recording what was going on in my life, and so on came June 8th, and the weather was gorgeous, and it was beautiful blue skies, cool days for North Carolina, where it's muggy in the summer. That was a real nice treat, and the night was cool. The air was dry. Oh, it was awesome. I don't know if that relates. It's a weather-related, or I didn't know at the time if it was a weather-related stone. I know this sounds really kooky, but I've had some odd experiences with it, so I will keep on reading from my notes as I interpret. I decided to polarize my stone, and if you don't know what that entails, go ahead and look on my videos linked. I will link them below, and you can learn a little bit more about polarization. And I also decided, because it was going to be full moon, to charge it. In the meantime, my attraction to it had grown so strong, even though first I had to put it aside, that I had to go back, and I had to take it and put it next to me in the middle of the night, even though my intent initially was to charge it all night. But it was such an enjoyable feeling to keep it around me that I decided I was just going to follow it. I won't force anything. I won't ignore it either. Then I had some experiences after I left it home with my business. I'm trying to start a small business with gemstones, because when I polarized them, I found out that they work better, and so people are very impressed, especially when they come in contact with them. And I might be at the store and see someone in pain, and I might say, hey, try this bracelet or that or this or the other, as I see it might help the person, and they end up buying one. I mean, I'm not charging crazy prices, but by golly, when they touch it and they realize that it works, that's awesome. But in this case, this lady came up to me and started talking to me. I was looking at a plant and she made a comment, and I noticed she was in pain. And again, I did the same thing and she bought one on the spot. Some other things came out of that, and she wanted to buy a pendant, and I met another person through that, but that's totally different issue. So the beautiful days kept going on, and the 9th, and it was hotter according to my notes. And let's see, I need to read a little bit on. Basically, from the notes that it took, it felt like there was some sort of shift after I moon charged the Astrophyllite. And I had some sort of reality adjustment with what I was expecting in my business, and in the just being in contact with the Astrophyllite. I'm gonna pause this real quick and read on. Okay, I had to read ahead because I had to make some quick notes here. This obviously happened at midnight, and my writing at midnight, after midnight, really 2 a.m., is not that great, and I usually sleep really sound. But for some reason, I woke up and I felt drawn again to the Astrophyllite, and I held it a little bit, and I felt like meditating. And I don't, like I said, I don't force anything. It sort of either happens or doesn't happen or comes to me. I feel a lot better when things just open themselves up and come to me. It's like the window opens and I don't have to worry about a door shutting somewhere else. So it just, it's sort of a natural process. Throughout this time where I was just meditating really late at night, I felt this alignment with the earth and the moon. And my body, it's was a feeling of just like a high, if you will. I also put the Astrophyllite next to a tourmaline. I have a black tourmaline, and I found this to be very, very beneficial. I mean, black tourmaline and out of itself absorbs negativity. So if there was anything going on that I wasn't aware of, it would have been taken care of. And I put it next to me. I don't put it on my pillow or anything like that, but I put it next to me. So now I added the Astrophyllite to it. The other thing that I noticed is that I was led to listen to a frequency vibration of 528 and 432. Something on here called ancient healing frequencies that connects the super subconscious, and 528 is the frequency of love, the connector from heart to heaven, from earth to soul, and to manifest blessings. So I feel a little bit that this Astrophyllite has been sort of guiding me, if you will. And in fact, it dug very deep within me. I felt slight, don't want to say slight because I remember it was quite a bit of a feeling of depression that had been lingering in there somewhere. And I pulled it out, and I realized I had done something by accident that was intended to be of benefit, and it wasn't really good for me. And so I was, I guess, able to deal with this, but I am going to go ahead and read again on my notes and then comment. All right, well, wanting to only keep this to a few minutes, it's turning out to be a rather long video. Basically, on the 13th of June, I was doing my dishes at the sink, really washing. I wasn't even aware of anything going on around me. My Astrophyllite probably was in my bedroom, so it wasn't even right next to me, but I felt this outside heat next to my leg, or wasn't really upper leg, lower leg, if you will, on the right side, and it was pressing against me so warm that it almost interrupted my my washing, if you will. And I was even wondering for a few seconds if it got any hotter, if I would get burned. It was sort of like a bubble, if you will, of extreme warmth. It was not hurting, but it was very surprisingly warm. Let me put it that way. So my first thought was perhaps was an angel close by. Like my roommate said that there's angels in this home, and I'm like, well, I know this is a blessed area. This home that I live in has many positive vibrations, and it's not for me. It was even before that. It used to be a place where the community celebrated. They had a soccer field, and there was a lot of good energy that came with this, including picnics and all the other. My next thought was perhaps someone is praying for me. I know my pastor said he feels when people pray for him around him. And I don't quite feel that directly, but I thought, well, maybe this is part of it. So I feel like I need to do something with my Astrophyllite, I say here, because it's absorbed a lot of negative vibes, like I said, especially with the tourmaline, and then sometimes assisted me with transformation. And that has been a slow, gentle process. It's not a drastic change, like for some people when they touch black obsidian. This is a different kind of, almost like more subtle, if you will, type of change. On July 1st, my one of my dogs had puppies, and being that it is a grounding stone, I thought perhaps it will make her birthing easier. So she was in the home. She had a whole area of the kitchen sectioned up, basically behind the counter in the kitchen. It divides up the kitchen cooking area and the sitting area. And so I put a big dog kennel there, and she had the area section off. And so she decided to start birthing in the kennel. The door was open, so she had a choice. And when she started, I put the Astrophyllite in the birthing area. I just rolled it in there and left it there. And I thought, well, let me see what happens. Now, my guess was that the vibes from it might be beneficial to her. In fact, when the first pups were born, instead of the pups going to the mom, like I've seen before when my other dog had puppies, the pups were drawn, the first two ones were drawn to the Astrophyllite. They crawled over there and they stayed there. It was kind of incredible to me because, like I said before, my other pup, and I don't know if this is the norm, I don't breed pups. They just, it just happened. So I need to kind of figure something out with that, because I don't like fixing my females. I do like making sure they don't get pregnant again. But in any case, when it happened before, the dogs, without the Astrophyllite, the dogs, usually the puppies go to the mom and start nursing right away. Of course, I had to wash and disinfect the Astrophyllite after that. But just what this told me was that the vibration was so positive and so strong that even these brand new born puppies were drawn to it like a magnet, if you will. Then July 12th, this is a few days later, I guess 2 weeks later, I still feel the benefits from being close to this Astrophyllite. It feels like my aura is being stabilized, which after an accident in 2003, I felt like a lot of it was out of alignment. I mean, someone hit me while I was sitting at a red light, and it really did a number on me. I have not entirely recovered from that. In fact, I cannot work a regular job per se. But this basically is telling me that there are some benefits to keeping it close to me. So to me, this is a stone that I would definitely keep. So in retrospect, looking at this over a month now that I've been carrying the Astrophyllite with me on and off and sleeping next to it, it feels like it enhanced my dreams. I also keep a dream journal, and it helps me work out things in my dreams faster and better. I mean, my last dream was beautiful dream, and I know they don't always mean what you're saying, but it also feels like I'm being guided, not just in the dreams, but in the walking state. Like it's bringing new experiences into my life, drawing new people, new activities. It's showing me what stones to use. Like I change my jewelry almost daily, but there's some items I like to wear throughout. And so it just showed me, let's see, on the 31st of July this morning, it showed me an exercise that I am to do to regenerate, and I'm going to try to move this so I can show the exercise, to regenerate and energize my aura, because I could not really get up. I was in so much pain this morning. And I do a lot of herbal, I do a lot of teas, I do a lot of natural things. And so I want to show the exercise that I was led to do. And this is really, I mean, I would say it enhances creativity. So basically, normally you would rub your hands to activate your chakras. And I don't know how many of you know about this or not, but I was told for my own healing, for my aura, and I don't know if it works for you, you may try it, instead of just rubbing my hands or something, to rub my fingers to my palm real quick, and then swing my hands all around my arm, the front. I was particularly led to do it so to the left, and it re-energized me extremely quickly. I had outdoor work to do, and the weather, like I said, is absolutely gorgeous. And so I ended up basically cutting down weeds in my chicken coop that had been overgrown and just way out of hand. So I would definitely recommend everyone get a Astrophyllite. I also got some other insights that I think are very important this morning, and I need to research them further. It basically has to do that everyone who has an Astrophyllite is basically in a sort of a web, if you will, not the person, but it's part of a web. That's how I wanted to say it. It's part of a web that connects throughout the earth. And for some reason, it's like we need that almost right now. I can't explain it in words any further right now. I just know I wrote some notes here. I'm trying to find out. Oh yeah, here it said on the personal note, moving stagnant energy, revitalizing, open new doors to activities, which of course when it revitalized me, it took care of the pain. I do other stuff for pain. Like I said, I do herbs. I don't do prescription, but to each its own. And it basically helps guide my steps and ordering and prioritizing. And you know, when you have as many hobbies as I do, you end up having a lot of things halfway done and waiting to be finished. And I do finish them eventually. The question is, what month or what year? But this is all for now. I might do a second take. I think for 1 month I have quite a few notes and experiences, and I'm looking forward to hearing from you. And leave me a note on here. tell me what you experience, if you have an astrophyllite, or you felt sometimes the vibrations even go through the screen. Some people say, I don't know if you're sensitive to that or not, but if you've experienced anything, or if anything spoke to you that I mentioned. So I hope you have a blessed day. Blessings to all.